Hi guys, it's me Danielle Danibuttons, and I'm here today with my 10-year YouTube review and Q&A type situation. So before we get into that, we'll talk about what we're coloring. This is Stone Mosaics, Stone Mandalas by Velva Family, the Cream Edition. And if you saw my last video, my plans for June, I want to color in some of my untouched books. This is so far untouched, so I just picked a fun shape and we're gonna do that. And then I am using my Blick Studio markers that I got for color by number because I got all of the refills. So hopefully the colors I need don't need refills right now, but we're gonna work on this while we chat. Okay, so what we're doing is I asked probably a week, potentially 2 weeks ago by now, for any questions you might have. I recently just hit my 10-year on YouTube milestone. So I've written out a tiny little timeline of my YouTube journey. I thought it would be fun to talk about, and then I will answer those questions. So I thought this is just a fun, different video to mix it up while we color and chat. So I'm getting right into the coloring. I also picked this page because I'm hoping it's on the easier side to chat while we're coloring. You know, if you do color and chats, you know that some books are just harder to talk and color at the same time than others. So we will see. But a timeline. Okay, so my first ever YouTube video was posted May 24th, 2012. And it was a Wreck This Journal video, which if you have not heard of those / don't remember, those were basically like books with a bunch of different prompts to do art in the books. So they call it Wreck the Journal, but it is kind of a way to free yourself from being nice to books, which is really hard for me. So there would be prompts to tear pages out, and there'd be prompts to legitimately drag the book through the dirt, and it was fun and freeing and a lot, and it was really popular back in 2012, so that's what I did my first video on. I thought I had some creative ideas, so that was that. And in fact, today when this is posted is the 4th, June 4th. My first ever craft space tour was June 4th, 2012. So it has been 10 years since I posted my first craft space. I was in fact in our old apartment in Newark, New Jersey back then, and my craft space was just my desk in the corner of our room. We actually had 2 closets with sliding doors, and one of them got to be my craft closet, and we shoved all our clothes into the other one. So Samuel has always been a very supportive craft partner. And yes, so that was fun. And also, apparently, I just like doing craft tours around the June months, I guess, summertime months. But that was that. So for the first few years, I want to say 2012 to 2015, I was 99% of my content was scrapbooking. So I do still scrapbook, not as much as I used to, unfortunately, though I'm planning on getting into it still. I just love memory keeping. I don't have too many pictures from when I was younger because I was one of those kids that was no, you can't take a picture of me. Absolutely not. But now I'm really sad about it because I wish I had more pictures. So I always try to take pictures of everything, and I like to document that through scrapbooking. So that's what I did for years. Ooh, this one might need... I'm nervous that I'm gonna run out. If I need more ink in some of these, I don't want to stop the video, so I might just turn the page until I find one that I don't need ink for. But we'll keep going as best we can. What was my next point? Sorry. Okay, so here's another fun fact. January 25th, 2013, so less than a year into this, I posted a video about washi tape, and that video essentially went viral. As of right now, it has over 87,000 views, which my next highest video has, I think, 6,000 views. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure people today still frequently get recommended that video. So it's very funny because I've always loved washi tape, and I already had a huge collection back then. And I want to say I have probably 700-ish washi tapes, but I mostly stopped collecting in like 2015 because I just like have been running out of space kind of situation. So I love that that's my most popular video. It's crazy. For years and years, I would still get comments on that. And if I had been monetized this whole time, which I very much have not, I think I got monetized, I should have written this down too, June 2020. But if I had been monetized that whole time, I think I would have made like over $500 on just that video alone. Potentially even more. So that's pretty crazy, because that, again, is not what I make on anything else. So that's pretty cool. And that was less than a year into this, so that's also pretty cool. Do you see any more 16s? Are they just randomly in here? Sorry. Yeah. Then I also wrote down that April 17th, 2013, I posted a 100 subscriber video. So it took nearly a full year to reach 100 subscribers. And I wrote that down just because I've gotten questions about like feeling like you're starting slow. And it definitely can go slow, but there's nothing to worry about with that. Like, again, I had 87,000 views before I even hit 100 subscribers. Obviously not before, because I've been getting the views for years, but I'm saying to just, it takes a while. Don't give up. Don't give up. We'll talk more about growing later though. So another fun fact, from 2015 through 2018, I did not post one single video. I guess I took a big old break. I know we moved into our current house in 2016. So we got noodles in 2015. And I assume right after Miss Noodles, I had to take a hiatus because we were adjusting to puppy life. Plus, before we moved into this house, my craft space was very different, which again, you can find tours of that because that was one of my main. Every year I would post a tour. So, and then in 2018, I came back August 2nd with my newest office tour in my current space. So that was how I joined YouTube once more. And a few days later, I did my first coloring related video. So August 8th, 2018 was my first coloring video. So it is almost my 4-year color tube anniversary, even though it was my 6-year YouTube anniversary. So I wish that I had done a 1,000 subscriber giveaway, because I feel like that was definitely in 2018 or 19, which again, I'm only bringing up because I had been doing videos for nearly 4 or 5 years and I had not come anywhere near 1,000 subscribers. So it definitely can be a slow game, but let's see. Yes, so since 2018, I have mixed my content up. 99% now of it is coloring related, but I also have thrown in reading stuff, bullet journaling, every once in a while some scrapbooking, and every once in a while like magazines and all my other hobbies. I throw in a little tiny bit, but we are almost entirely a coloring channel now, which that's my current main hobby, so it makes sense. And then the final note I wrote down in my journey portion of this video is June 15th, 2020 was my first scavenger hunt. So that was my way. I have to be honest with you. I wasn't a noticeable break, but I had kind of slowed down on YouTube, on coloring YouTube for a while too, especially right before the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, everybody was back at it, in my experience, but I had slowed down for a while and I was very discouraged. A lot of the people I personally followed, none of them make videos anymore, so no sleuthing around, but I did not necessarily feel everyone was the most genuine, at the time. This is not any drama, I swear to you. It was mostly this one girl that every day she would post a countdown to her birthday and post a link to her wish list. And people would send her things. So I was like, what is going on? Like, what am I doing wrong? And my intention was to come back and pander. But then my most recent rejoin into the community, I like instead made a whole bunch of friends. So I'm very glad I did not go down the path I was intending in 2020. But when I did that scavenger hunt, I thought I was like, had the best idea. I worked on that for weeks, and I made sure there was no other scavenger hunts on Coloring Tube at all. And it was just like my breakthrough moment. So that was really big for me and my channel. So, but that is the last 2 years. Now I try very hard to post very consistently. My goal is always all even dates, but that's really it. The beginning of this year, I had taken a little bit of a break too. Not a huge one, but just, I think I posted like 3 videos a month instead of 15. But now we are going strong for the time being. So into the Q&A portion. So it's so funny because I wrote for my Q&A, I was like, ask me anything, can be YouTube, coloring, just life, whatever you want. And I think almost every single thing was coloring. I got one not coloring or YouTube related question, so I'm going to answer that first. And it is, what is your favorite food? And my favorite food is baked ziti. So good. I love it. I used to be the pickiest eater in the world. Now I'm like the 10th pickiest eater, so I'm definitely getting better. But I remember it would be holidays and I like would refuse to eat anything because I was dramatic. And I finally gave in and ate my aunt's baked ziti first, and it changed my life. I think because she didn't use meat sauce. She just like was very light on sauce and it was very heavy on cheese. And that thus began my baked ziti journey. So it is my favorite. And now I love making baked ziti. That's like one of my signature dishes. It's not the fanciest thing. It's mostly cheese, but it's delicious. And yes, I could eat baked ziti every day if I had to. So the rest of them are basically all YouTube related questions. I wrote them in the order that I received them. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to flow. I kind of thought about them a little bit, but I didn't want to like have answers written out. I just, sometimes whatever comes out my mouth first is the most, again, genuine. So we'll see what happens here. But how do you navigate real life and YouTube? So I don't know how much navigating there is to do. Right now, like this month, June, I'm trying to make it even more structured than usual because I just think I am needing more structure in my life. So I'm gonna use YouTube to help me do that. But when I'm being extra relaxed, I just film when I can. Whatever gets done, gets done. But right now, my goal is to film 1 video every weekday just to kind of get ahead of the game. But we'll see how well we can stick to that. So next is, do you ever feel low about your channel? Yes, I have in fact felt low. For a long time, I was feeling low because back when I started my coloring stuff, there were not a huge variety of videos. It was basically color and chats or like tutorials. There's always like hauls and stuff too. But I don't like doing the same thing twice a lot of the times. So I was always trying to do weird and different things to see what would catch on. And the downside with doing weird and different things is that nobody knows what they are, so they don't know to search for them, and they don't know to watch them, really. So I might have spent like a week on a video where I colored every single day, 10 different pages, and then I would get no views at all. Like my haul videos get so many more views than anything else. that sometimes that can get discouraging because I can't, even if I wanted to, I can't keep up with shopping that much. So it would get really discouraging when like videos I worked really hard on don't do as well as I wish they did. But the next part of the question is, how do you get over that? And really, there's not a good answer. I either will take some breaks to calm down, or you kind of just have to say, even if you only got 1 subscriber from that really long video, that's now 1 new person that's going to see everything else. And hopefully next time, that's 1 extra person that's watching. So you kind of have to be like, okay, every new person counts, every view counts, and just got to do it if you like to do it and not do stuff for the numbers kind of situation. And then it says, did you ever compare yourself to another YouTuber who is better than you? Well, the wording of the question has hurt a little bit, but not really. I don't compare myself to the people. I feel like as everybody, I've gotten jealous of like people who have more supplies or more books or whatever every once in a while, just because I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have that, but I can't right now. But then I very quickly look around and say, wow, girl, you got enough, and what you got's working for you. So I don't really compare myself too often, which thank goodness, because I got enough problems comparing myself. It's too much. But okay, next is, when did you start adult coloring and why? I've always loved coloring. I was a very nerdy only child, so coloring is an easy thing to do by yourself. So I've always loved it. I've always loved crafts in general. My mom was a big crafter. And I always loved like playing school as an activity. Uh-oh, grumpy dog. Grumpy dog alert. We'll see if Sam stops my grumpy dog. But yeah, it was always something I did. So I started adult coloring probably right when Secret Garden came out and took over the world. But then I didn't love that style because it's like too detailed for me. So I did not do adult coloring again in the current form for another like year or 2, I would say. And then I found a haul video that had coloring books that were my style, and I ran out that day and bought those books, and I have been adult coloring ever since. So probably around 2017, 2018 when I started making videos. Probably 2017, because by 2018 my first videos were already like mini collections. So that's when and why. All right. This one is more of a future video idea, but somebody asked for my favorite supplies, so a video of them. I'm just gonna mention my top faves right now because my number 1 fave is probably my Tau Tree markers. I love them, and I'm on like set 3, and I just think the colors are great. Usually the price is great. Right now the price is a little higher than it used to be. And they're my favorite to use. They're easiest, and I'm used to them. So that's my probably number 1 supply, but I definitely am due for a supply video soon where I show you more supplies. So, but thank you for that question. I'm gonna skip the next one, but I had 4 people ask the next one, but I'm gonna skip it because I need to show you a visual aid. And then this next one is, do you remember what your favorite coloring book as a child was? And I actually do, or at least I had an answer when I read this question. My aunt, so my grandma, all right, my grandma's sister, so really my great aunt, but she lived upstairs from my grandma. It was like almost a 2-family house, but not really, whatever. So whenever I would visit, and I was probably like 5, 6, 7, 8, those years, she had a bag of coloring books that she kept on the back of her door, of her closet door. So I would always run over and visit, and I would take that bag out and we would color. And I remember specifically my favorite one was a DuckTales coloring book. I remember like a scene of them in a submarine, and I can remember coloring this, and I don't know why, but that is very much sticking out in my head. So that is gonna have to be my winner. It was definitely like a dollar store coloring book, kids coloring book, but it was DuckTales, and I loved it. I also definitely used to get dollar store Christmas coloring books every year, and I really loved those too. But those are sticking out. I definitely cannot remember even if there were like big enough books to know about, or if it was all just like dollar store kind of situations. But yes, DuckTales, woo, was my favorite. So the last question before my visual aid question is, how did you grow your following? Because this person was just starting out and struggling. So that is one reason I kept mentioning my milestones along this, is that it takes a while. Like sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll pop off and people will find you. But sometimes you just gotta keep doing it if you like it, and the people will come eventually. So, but my advice is, I wrote down 3 things. So number 1 is be consistent as you can when you're posting. So let's say you have time to film 4 videos a month. In my opinion, it's better to do, like, put them out every Monday instead of 4 days in a row. Like, it's better to have some sort of schedule. It doesn't have to be like every other day like me. It can be once a month, but try to be as consistent as you can. Has helped me personally. My second advice is to start with the big videos. So the big videos are the ones that people search no matter what, which is your finishes for the month, your collection videos, and like office videos / supply videos. Those are the ones that people who are bored are just going to search finished pages May, and if yours pops up, they'll find you. That's how I find most new people, and I think those are my biggest videos, so that's probably how a lot of people find me. So that's number 2. And number 3, and what helped me by far the most, more than anything else, I'm doing big hand motions that you can't see, is to try to make friends in this community. My most recent stint here on YouTube, starting in May, June 2020, is when I first made my actual friends. I talked to people in comments, I talked to people on Instagram, mostly on Instagram, and that just helped so much, because now I would talk about my friends, we would buddy color, so I would mention their channels, they would mention my channels, and you grow from there. So, and then even if you're not growing your channel, at least you're making new friends. So that's kind of better in my opinion. So that is that. But I did a whole video in September 2020 about growing your channel and my tips and tricks. So you can definitely take a peek at that if you haven't seen it. But my page is done. I think it's pretty good. My green lasted, so that worked out nicely. And the question I got 4 different times is, what is your all-time favorite page you colored? So I decided not to think about this too hard, which I don't know if that's silly, but when I read this question, this page came to mind, and I decided that was good enough. You know what I mean? I must really like this page if that's what came to mind. So this is Colors of the Decades by Color It. And I have a little noodle marker for reference. Noodles in pajamas, anybody? So there's that. But my favorite page has to be this page. I hope you can see it all. So for this page, I actually did watercolor paint for this green in the back, and then everything else is with Sharpies, and I love it. I don't know. This was probably the first time I ever tried to do this gray on color, and I think this came out so fun. I think it's so striking. I gave her the little bit of color with her earring and her nails, and I don't know. This page took a super long time because Sharpies are not the quickest to color with, but I love it a lot. So that's what my answer is. I definitely have had many pages over the years that I really liked, but this definitely stuck out. So that is it. That was all my questions. So, but always feel free to ask questions in the comments, or if you have other videos you want to see from me, feel free to leave them down below. I don't say that explicitly, so I feel like people don't ask me for videos, and I hope that's not why you're not asking. Just take this as a blanket invitation. And yes, so if you're here, I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for being a part of my channel, and I hope you stick around. So I'll get into my spiel. Like this video if you like it. Comment anything you want to comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm a fun time, and maybe I'll be around for 10 more years on YouTube. Who knows? I'm shocked that I've been here for 10 years already, so can't predict it. But I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in 2 days with something new. Bye, friends.